Hello everybody, this is Diane. I am going to make another cover like the one I did in the previous video. I already had this one done and I started doing this one on camera and I ran into some difficulty because I lost a pin down inside my sewing machine and then it wouldn't go. So here's what I did. I went to my local quilt shop because they have someone who fixes sewing machines. I had called down there before to see if she could fix that machine when I was having some trouble with it, with the stitches, and they said that she didn't work on, they asked where I bought it, and I said Joann's, and she said she doesn't work on machines from big box stores because they don't have a frame inside or something. And her waiting list was really long, but she said you can bring it. Anyway, she could take a look and see if it was something she could fix, but no guarantees. So anyway, I didn't take it down. I got it going. I got it fixed. So anyway, I went down there. I did not take my sewing machine with me because I wanted to get a machine that I knew somebody local could work on. And I wanted to get a better quality machine anyway. This Singer that I had was just a very inexpensive one from Joann's. So I went down there and she had this Necchi. I had never heard of Necchi before. And you can't see it. Necchi. I'd never heard of it, but I think she said it was owned by Janome. And I'm not going to go into other details about it, but she gave me a discount on it because it was the last model of Necchi. They're carrying another line that comes from Janome, and so they were phasing out the Necchi, and this was their last one. And so she gave me a discount on it. But anyway, that's the story on the sewing machine. She said she does. I was kind of perturbed. I asked her about my machine, and I said, they told me that you don't work on machines from big box stores. And she said, I don't work on brother machines from Walmart. Well, that's not what they told me. But anyway, she said I can bring it in and she will open it up and get the pin out and see if it works after that. So that way I can have a backup. So if I need to take this one in, because she always has a long waiting list. So if I have to take this one in for any reason, I'll have a backup that I can use to work on. Because it could be weeks waiting for my machine, and this is part of my livelihood. So I'll have an inexpensive one for backup, and I have this nice one to use, and hopefully I won't wreck it. But after I got it home and got it set up, I did finish sewing on this the lining and the lace pocket. I was wondering why there was stitching here where there's supposed to be a pocket. There's stitching right there. It's because I added this little piece on as an afterthought, forgetting that there's a pocket there. But there's still a little bit of a pocket there if you want to use it. So I'm going to make one more cover, and I'm doing it slightly different, so I wanted to bring you along for that too if you're interested. I think I want to keep one of these journals. Sometimes if I'm doing something different, I like to keep one so I have one to refer to for making future ones. And besides, I really like it. So I think I will probably keep this one because I love the little house. So this image is smaller, but I wanted the size, I wanted more fabric around it, so I didn't want to cut it down to this size. This one doesn't have as much fabric around the outside. So in order to make it not so floppy where the fabric is, I looked for some interfacing to put on the inside, and I found this fabric that I have in my stash. It's very stiff, and I tried to find the scrap, the leftover piece, to show it to you, but I don't know where I put it. But it's I don't know what it's called, but it is stiff. but it's not the same thing as interfacing. It's vintage. But if you look for a medium weight interfacing, that's what I would use for a future one like this. So that's what I cut a piece and sewed it onto the whole backing piece. This is my backing fabric. Isn't that pretty? And that's a vintage piece. And then I sewed the card on. I added a few little pieces on and sewed the card on. I wanted to get a better feel for my machine and figure out the width and length of my zigzag that I wanted and all of that before I started the camera. I'm still getting used to the machine. It does have a feature where there's an attachment that I can remove if I want to, but it has a thing by my knee where I can press my knee onto it and raise my foot as I'm turning corners, so I don't have to reach behind the machine and lift it. So I'm trying to get used to that. So I'm going to sew this little piece on for fun. See, on these things I'm just adding all kinds of interesting fabrics and trims and tidbits. And I think I will just glue this part on. I just wanted to add some more trim to the top of this. Oh, it doesn't go across the whole thing. I mentioned in probably Sunday's collage video that I was going to go watch Maya and the Last Dragon at my son's house on Disney Plus. He rented it, and he didn't want to spend the money to rent the movie just for the three of them to watch it, so he invited my daughter and her family and me over to watch it with them. So we had dinner together and we watched Maya and the Last Dragon, and I said it wasn't one I was particularly interested in, but I wanted to have a movie night with my family, so I went, and I actually really enjoyed it. Awkwafina is a comedian, and she plays, and an actress, and she plays the dragon, and she is so funny. Okay, you can see that I have some pieces pinned on over here. I have this strip from a tablecloth, and that's where this piece is from. So I want to sew this down the spine. So I keep unthreading the needle, and I'm not quite sure how it keeps happening. What was I saying? Oh, the decoration of the outside is pretty much the same as what I did. Oh, let me show you. I sewed this card on, and then on this side I sewed a piece of the green file folder to make the spine a little sturdier. And I think it would be fine with just a fabric spine. There will be 2 layers of fabric plus the interfacing, and that would have been fine. But this makes it easier for me, I think, to sew the signatures in, to sew the signatures where I want them. So I did that for my sake. But I think if you wanted to do it with just fabric and not the cardstock in there, I think it would be fine. And I think that the bed of my machine is wider on this one, and plus this card is smaller, so I don't have to worry so much about bending my card up while I'm sewing on other things. Oops. Okay, I just knocked my knee thing off. And I pushed buttons while I was trying to move my machine into place. I don't know why it says safe on there, and then I couldn't. Okay, now I can set this to the settings that I want and keep practicing using my knee raise thing. And here we go. I have it set on a zigzag. Okay, got that on there. This is what I'm going to put on the inside for the lining, I think. Now, on the back, I'm going to go ahead and sew this across the top because I know I want that up there. And I've got to learn to move my machine back and forth without, I just unthreaded it again. I actually watched the thread come right out. It's the panel for the stitches is big. And when I move my machine, I touch one of those buttons and I change my settings. And I can't get my needle threaded. There we go. I'm sorry, you're watching me get used to my new machine. So now I have to reset. Once I lose the zigzag stitch, I have to reset the size. It always goes back to its default setting. Okay, here we go. This little piece that I'm using for the ruffle was from that vintage Holly Hobby dress that I used in the Holly Hobby journals. It was a dress for a Holly Hobby doll. I didn't have the doll. Oh, I did it again. Well, I touched it, but it stayed the same. Okay. So I'm just gonna start sewing these pieces down, I guess, because I think I'm just gonna leave them right where they are. I have that linen towel calendar, a piece of yellow bias tape, like I have this red stripe bias tape, a circle and some lace, some fringe that came off of a chenille bedspread or something. Somebody gave me that fringe. I think this might be the last of it that I have. And and I added this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing all this stuff down. Gonna go back, wait, I need to catch in the bottom of this tablecloth piece. Oops, there goes that pin. At least it's not inside my sewing machine. I think for that last row there, last side, I'm going to have to turn it around instead of trying to squish the whole thing in there. Now I'm going to sew the calendar piece on. If I start this way, maybe I can go all the way around. We'll see. Nope, I guess I can't. If I'm going to leave that knee thing on, I have to remember to push my machine down to the side and not forward, because I will knock that thing off every time I move it back away from me. Alright, I had this on here somewhere. Oh, I had these little, I had a little scrap of the plaid tablecloth and this little circle I want to put on there, and I'll just glue them. There's a little kitty on this fabric circle with a watering can. Thought that was perfect for outside of the house here. And I was going to put this somewhere. I have a piece of the red over here, so I was probably going to put this on the front. I'll just put it down there. Okay, what's next? Does it need anything else? Probably. This is one of those kitchen sink journals. I don't really like the way that curves up. I think I'm gonna stitch down those sides. Other than that, I think I'm gonna call it good for now. And if I want to add something else, I can glue it on. I think I had this tablecloth piece here I was going to do something with. I'll worry about that later. I can glue it on if I want to later. I'm just going to use a straight stitch. Sometimes I forget my knee thing. Now, let's figure out the lining. This is from a fabric sample book. It is just the right width. How about that? I had to trim off the other ones. So maybe this is a little bit smaller. Oh, it's a little bigger because I had to trim this off. So I actually made this cover bigger than the others, even though the card is smaller. So I'll sew this on first, and then I will sew this on, and if this is big enough, I don't think it will be big enough to be a little pocket. So we're just going to sew it on, see what happens. Almost done. Okay, now I want to add a lace pocket, and let's see. I don't know if that's going to be a pocket or not. I've got to get some wide lace. That one doesn't quite go all the way across. This one might be too wide. No, I don't think so. I wonder how many of you stuck with me through this. If you did, thank you. All right, let's see how it looks. There's the front, the spine, and the back. and the inside. So that would be just a tiny little tuck spot. I'm going to sew across there just so it will be a little pocket and so things won't slide all the way down. Trying to see where I'm wondering if this kind of stiff paper on the end of, yeah, that's overlapping the spine, which is why I'm having a hard time finding where the spine is. So I won't go all the way over. I don't really want to sew across the spine with this. Okay, so now I have 3 covers done, and now I can start on the pages. So that's going to be fun too. I'm going to have to construct some large pages because these journals are quite wide. These are quite big journals, and I think they're going to be so much fun. I can't wait to get them full of fun papers with pockets and flips and tags and all the stuff I want to put in them. So that's what I'm going to work on after lunch today. Thanks for watching today. I hope that you had fun watching me put these covers together, and I hope you get out all your fun stuff and see if you have some pretty cards, some sort of cards that you can use on the covers of a soft journal like this, just for something fun. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.